Ngā mihi kia koutou katoa, no mai haere mai ki te hui mai nei o tēnei rā. Ko Susanna ahau, no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Good afternoon and welcome everyone, and a very special welcome to those who are joining us via technology in what is our very first live streamed public meeting. My name is Susanna Guttenbill, I'm the Communications Manager here at Foundation North and your MC for today. Now, before we get into our meeting, I would like to ask our Māori Strategy Manager, Cyril Howard, to open our meeting with a karakia.
Nā mea kia koutou, he nori tātou. He nori he kororia ki te atua, he maungarongo ki te whenua, he whakaro pai ki nā tangata katoa, anga i te atua he nāka hau, ki roto ka tina ako tina o mātou. Whakatungi tō wairua tapu, hei a whina, hei tūtū iai o mātou, hei ako huku i roto i tēnei akoranga ai. Tēnā koutou. Ko rangi kei runga, ko papa ki raro, ki te tangata o Wainanui, tēnā koutou, tihei mauri o rā. E o mātua o nā mano, ko kui te timatanga, ko kui te hakurutunga, o nā mea katoa. Nā mihi ki nā hunga mate, haere, haere atu rā, apiti hono, tātai hono, rākau te huna wai o kia rākau. Nā mihi ki nā iwi o tāmiki o tai tukarau, tēnā koutou. Nā mihi ki nā iwi o tāmiki o tai tukarau, ki te hono o te whenua o Ngāti Whātua, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou ki te whānau e hui mai nei, nau mai haere mai ki te hui mai nei mō tēnei rā, nau mai ki te kaupapa o tēnei rā, nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Te ahuru o te wakatoi, whakawhirinaki, I ngā tuku whakarei, tūnei ko te ahi, rei o tamaki here, o ngā waka o te taitoke. Tino mate ki te tino mate, ki te hongora, hurino, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Thank you, trustees and staff, for that lovely rendition of Te Waka Toi. Now, here today to mark the milestones of the Foundation is our Chair and CEO, who will be invited to speak. We've also put together a few digital stories of groups we have funded so you can see for yourself the impact of our funding. At the end of the meeting, we will have an opportunity to take a few questions, followed by an afternoon tea. Now, 2015 has been a very special year for us in that we changed our name to Foundation North. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey of our name change. Okay, so while we are live streaming this meeting, we don't want to live stream your phone call, so if you haven't already, please put your phone on silent. Behind every grant there is a story, and it's stories of impact we're here to celebrate. Someone who has been a part of this journey and chairperson for the last 5 years is Ken Whitney, who I will now invite forward to share his insights for the year.
Tēnā koutou katoa, and welcome everyone to the 2015 annual meeting of Foundation North. Firstly, I'd like to introduce my fellow trustees. If you could stand up, please. Alistair Bell, Alva'a Unasa Inosa Alva'a, Bill Plunkett, Bob Leveloff, Ian McDougall, John Slater, Kim Wright, Lynn Lim, Mark Brickle, Moy Milne, Murray Broadbelt, Precious Clark, Tony Miller, and Vipin Garg. Thank you, trustees. The past year has been a particularly eventful and exciting one. Among the highlights are our change of name and rebranding, our investment portfolio returning $137.6 million, up from $81.6 million the year before, and our total grants to Auckland and Northland since inception in 1988 reached $864 million. You can read the detailed financial report either in the hard copy available in the foyer or on our website. Our name change and rebranding followed the end of our naming agreement with ASB Bank in May 2014. Going forward, we wanted a name that reflected on our connection with the communities of Auckland and Northland. Foundation North is simple, easily remembered, and speaks of what we are and where we work. The people of Auckland and Northland are at the heart of our new brand, with its byline, "Behind every grant there is a story." Our new name also conveys the in perpetuity nature of the Trust, our nearly $900 million contribution to supporting communities in Auckland and Northland over the last 27 years, and our long association with the history and development of the North. The Foundation received a very good return on its endowment for the year. The income derived from the Foundation's investment portfolio totaled $137.6 million, reflecting a return net of fees of 12.3%, which was 1.5% in excess of the Foundation's benchmark return of 10.8%. This excellent result, arising from strong investment performance, supports and funds our strategic grants program and allows us to continue building our reserves to enable a consistent level of granting at times when investment markets are less accommodating. Our total assets as at the 31st of March 2015 were $1.21 billion, well ahead of the previous year's total of $1.12 billion. While we have contributed nearly $1 billion to the region since inception, we manage our investments prudently to ensure that the Foundation remains in a strong position to support future generations lucky enough to live in our region. The launch of the Centre for Social Impact as a wholly owned subsidiary of the Foundation is the outcome of a journey towards increasingly strategic grant making that began in 2006. The decision by the Foundation then to invest $20 million in exploring innovative solutions to support Maori and Pacific educational achievement was our first step towards developing expertise in high engagement philanthropy. The combination of multi-year grants and organisational support delivered some outstanding results. Today, we have a dedicated multi-year funding program, Catalysts for Change, which encourages innovative responses to complex social issues in our region. The Centre for Social Impact supports our Catalyst for Change partners to deliver on their vision and allows other organisations investing in social change to access a range of skills and experience to achieve superior outcomes and credibly evaluate their social impact. I would like to conclude by thanking my trustees for being a supportive and cohesive team, making a real contribution to our progress, and to our Chief Executive, Jennifer Gill, for her unwavering dedication and leadership in the operations of the Foundation. Thanks to the combined efforts of our staff and trustees, I am pleased to report that the Foundation has never been in a stronger position and is well placed to face the future with confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken, and well done to you and the board. Now, as Ken mentioned, the Catalyst for Change program is an innovative and unique approach to philanthropic investment in this part of the world. Here are some of the great stories of impact that have been achieved in this program in the past 12 months.
I'm excited to see change in young people, and we've seen it happen here. So if it can happen here, surely we can get it happening with these other communities that are struggling to grab and keep up with the demand of it all. We want to prove a model. We want to work together. We actually want your input and your results and your learning. We put that to one place, and then we can go and help other communities, because what our passion is, seeing young people change. We know we've seen it here, but we want to see if we can actually help other organisations do the same. I really believe that if we can make a difference with some of these young people that had undeserving starts, we're going to get less of these kids going through and making it on the news and going into prison. Because these kids, they need someone to support them and get them to believe that there's a different tomorrow, because they actually believe that they're bad or that they're dumb or that no one cares about them. So that's what I'm seeing here. I have for 13 years, to tell you the truth, but even more so now. We're on this mission. I've been able to get people to come with us. That excites me.
We had the Northern Advocate here the other day taking some photos of rugby union guys were here playing ball and doing some things with the kids in the park. And the photographer from the Advocate, Northern Advocate, said, you know, he's been taking photos and attending news things for many, many years, and he said this is the most positive thing that he's ever had in this community come about. And I mean, things like that, you know, it just blows us away. So to think about our leadership support and CSI support, and we've got that behind us, we really have developed a pretty sound foundation, and we're getting a really good, credible reputation in our community, and we've got really good support. In the main, great group of kids that are coming and new kids coming all the time. And you know, I've worried before that our building's quite small, but actually I'm quite pleased because it limits, you know, the speed of the growth. Every month we've got more and more young people coming through and getting more and more engaged.
Coordinators have an ability to change like a generation of lives for young people who have been dealt with, you know, probably the hardest start to their life. These are the most vulnerable young people in our country, and been through trauma that we could probably not even imagine. You know, one of the boys talked about being, you know, his mum being homeless and him constantly running away from his foster parents to be with his mum, and then now he's ended up in residence, and the work that they're doing to connect him to who he is, his identity, to overcome some of that trauma, to have them talk about how he's changed as a result of connecting to who he is, his identity, and then for him to raise his head after the second sort of session and say, you know, Tūranga Waiwai means that I have somewhere to stand and that I do actually belong to someone. Like that's pretty amazing, I think.
Now, a long-time proponent of innovation and philanthropy is none other than our Chief Executive Officer, Jennifer Gill, who has led Foundation North for 11 years. I'd like to now call upon Jenny to speak to the Foundation's operational successes.
Thanks, Susanna, and thanks everybody. Kia ora tātou katoa, and warm Pacific greetings to everybody. Welcome to our new format public meeting. We're being live streamed across the globe, and it's very, very exciting, and hopefully a bit later in the meeting we might get some responses tweeted in. I've just been introduced to the concept of digital disruption, so I've been thinking about that a lot over the weekend. So this is another digital disrupt to our world. But I want to assure those of you who have experienced our older format meetings that we are supplementing this new format of a public meeting with a large number of staff and trustee engagement with the community. So this is just one piece of our public platform as a foundation. At the end of each financial year, we look back at what our grants have been able to support in Auckland and Northland communities, and we have this beautiful new annual report bearing our new logo to tell you the story and what we've called our storyboard, the story of the Foundation's grants program. And if you look through it, you'll see that in the past financial year we made $36.8 million worth of grants to 764 organisations across our region. And so I encourage you all to take this away with you and to look at it, and it tells lovely stories of the beautiful things that are happening in our region, and it really just augments the clips that we're able to see tonight of our grantees, and in particular of the people that lead them. Our organisation, as you're probably aware, introduced a new funding program a few years ago, and this is outlined in here and also in our strategic plan, which a number of you may have seen. But we fund essentially across three broad programs: people, places and participation. And just looking in the report, you can see that in the people space, which is essentially what we would have in the past called health, social services and education, 334 grants totalling 7.6 million. In places, which is essentially community buildings, environment projects and our heritage program, 106 applications receiving a total of 9.2 million. Participation, which is recreation and sport, arts and culture, 299 grants to a total of 6.7 million. Key community partners, which is a new and expanding part of our work, 20 multi-year grants totaling 6.9 million, and Catalysts for Change, 4 grants totaling 4.9 million. So you can see there's quite a big spread across our grants area. The other piece of digital disruption that we've experienced this year is our new online application process. And we've only been, I think, online for 6 months or so, and we're now receiving nearly 90% of our applications through our portal. So that's completely changed the way that the staff are able to work with our applications. And this streamlined process has been welcomed, particularly by the hundreds of small organisations who apply for our quick response grants, which are less than 20,000. This means groups can also manage their own information inside of the portal. Another thing that we did this year for the first time was a survey of our grantees, and I'm very pleased to report that 92% of the respondents said that our grants had made a massive impact on their organisation. And there was also, encouragingly, a very positive response to contact with staff, with respondents saying they were treated with respect and courtesy fairly, and that the Foundation was responsive to their needs and helpful. We also surveyed a number of unsuccessful applicants, because I think it's very easy to get your successful applicants to tell you what a good job you do, but actually the dialogue with unsuccessful applicants I think is equally important, and the feedback was equally positive about their interactions with the Trust. I'm delighted to have the full staff team here with us, and I can't introduce you to each of them individually, but I would like to thank each of them individually for the wonderful work that they do, and encourage you to stay and mingle with both the staff and the trustees over afternoon tea after this event. I'd also like to thank the Board of Directors and the head of our new Centre for Social Impact and her team of associates, some of whom are here today. And for those of you that haven't seen it, I would encourage you to go online And you're not supposed to download things, you're supposed to just read them online. But anyway, I downloaded this wonderful document that you might all enjoy reading, which is the first social impact report that the Centre for Social Impact has put out, which outlines the kind of work that the Centre is doing for the Foundation. The Foundation's engagement with many of our organisations has been, I think, an extremely successful and interesting journey that we're on, and I think we will continue on this journey refining our projects. And as Ken mentioned, the whole idea for us of working in a high impact way came out of our Māori and Pacific Education Initiative, which we actually started in 2006. And it's really interesting to look back nearly 10 years ago now on actually how long it takes to develop long-term, highly engaged, strategic philanthropic programs. But what we're now starting to see with our Māori and Pacific Impact, and which you will be able to see shortly on our website, is that a number of the projects that we funded under that program are demonstrating truly extraordinary success in terms of impacting the educational outcomes of young people in our region. So I can't mention them all, but in particular the Leadership Academy of A Company in Whangarei, the Rise Up Trust in South Auckland, the See Me Mentoring Trust, and initiatives such as Sylvia Park's Mutukau Roa project and Manaia Kalani in East Auckland. These projects have all demonstrated that it is possible to significantly turn around the educational achievement of our young people. And an MPI project that we are highlighting in our storyboard and that we'll be soon showing you a clip of in this meeting is the High Tech Youth Network, who are an exemplar of what success can look like. So we'll see their digital story shortly. But we're very proud to be associated with High Tech Youth, and Mike Asmar is here with us today. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for coming. We're very proud to have been associated with you and your project, which is growing not only to influence in New Zealand, but across the Pacific, and there is also interest in your project, I understand, also in the States, which is hugely exciting for us in New Zealand, because we really are doing some really innovative and interesting things in this country, and it's gratifying to see an increasing amount of international awareness and appreciation of some of the innovations that we've been part of. I think that our rebrand as Foundation North signifies a kind of a coming of age for us as the Community Trust for Auckland and Northland, and as one of the largest philanthropic funders in Australasia. Alongside our Māori and Pacific strategies, we're now working on an Asian diversity strategy, and we're looking to see how we can better serve our growing and diverse communities. And we would welcome input from anybody here who comes from those communities or who works with organisations who are working with our diverse communities on what you've learned and how we might incorporate your learnings into our work. Somebody that I had hoped to acknowledge in person today is our CFO, Sid Begley. Unfortunately, Sid isn't here today because he's had a family bereavement and he's actually in New Plymouth with his family. But Sid's actually retiring from Foundation North after 10 years service, and I kind of I said to him, did you actually arrange it so you weren't going to be here today? Because those of you who know Sid will know that he's a very modest person, but I do want to publicly acknowledge the contribution that Sid has made to the Foundation for the past 10 years. Thank you. And finally, once again, I would like to thank our dedicated staff team. It's a privilege to work here and to work with you all. You all work very hard to make sure that we deliver on our strategy, that we generate the investment returns that we require to fund the programs that actually we rely on the community to deliver. And thanks in particular to our Chair, Ken Whitney, and his dedicated team of trustees. I think we demonstrate a lovely partnership between the staff and the trustees, working together to make sure that this extraordinary asset that the people of Auckland and Northland have been endowed with is made to work as hard as it can, and then we spread the benefits of it all as far as we can. So thank you all very much for coming, and I'm looking forward to meeting with some of you a little less formally in the afternoon tea after the meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Now, as Jenny has mentioned and featured in this year's storyboard is the High Tech Youth Network. Let's take a look at what work they do.
High Tech Youth was started as a wish by this community to provide more opportunities for the youth, and particularly leveraging the advances in technology.
They come to us with a great lot of ideas, but also a passion. Kids adopt technology more readily than most, and we felt that was a really good way to engage.
Every day there's a different timetable. On Mondays is 3D design, Tuesdays is Adobe Youth Voices, Wednesdays is After Effects, Thursdays is engineering, Fridays is when we come together as a council.
Coming in after school, when they're supposed to be tired and spent for the day, and spending another 3-4 hours working on projects that they're really passionate about and highly engaged is probably a testament to the fact that we're doing some things right.
I come here all the time. It's been like 3 years, 4 years now.
When I first started, it was in the school library, and there's about 5 of us on big, chunky old computers.
When I first started, I actually enjoyed just looking at things. It was just part of my passion of exploring.
And that was pretty wicked, mind-blowing for me at the time.
When I just started like experiencing more, like getting into graphic designs and that, I started enjoying everything.
So all of the learning here is interest-based learning, so they'll come in with an interest and then we'll learn beside them. We don't consider ourselves the experts or the almighty teachers.
The video is about Superman, and I'm just chopping it up and putting it to my music, in type of music.
Well, I think the future for our communities is about higher employment, higher achievement rates within schools, because they're engaged and just love learning, because it resonates with where they're going in terms of both employment and business development.
The technology industry is crying out for more people, and they're specifically lacking Māori and Pacific Island representation and female representation.
Their funding has allowed us both to provide this facility and others across the northern region, but also in terms of at this stage developing the High Tech Youth Academy, which is looking at how do we provide some formal qualifications and certifications for our young people in these communities.
But now I actually want to try out some ICT work, something with apps and coding and programming and everything like that, so yeah.
When I finish school, I want to go to university and study about being a pilot and stuff. Yeah.
The learning that our kids are doing in studios helps a long way for them to seek pathways into employment, into further training and education, but also, I guess, happiness, I think, is quite key.
Wasn't it wonderful to see all those happy faces? I'd also like to again acknowledge High Tech CEO Mike Uzma. Thank you so much for allowing us to capture High Tech's story. Now, just a quick reminder, and especially for those who are watching our live stream, you can access our financials and storyboard from our website, and a full statement of grants is also available there under our News and Publications tab. Now we have time for a few questions for our Chair and CEO. We also have on standby our Funding Programs Manager, Raywin Jacobs. Are there any questions? Anyone got anything? Anything via social media? Any? No? Okay. That makes it nice and easy. Going? Okay, we'll leave it at that. Well, that just about brings us to the end of our meeting. Now, we've got one more digital story to show you, this time from Northland. It's the Whangarei Native Bird Recovery Centre.
Well, my wife Robin and I started the centre about 25, 26 years ago, and nobody was doing this sort of work. So that's what we decided we'd have a go at looking after native birds, and it was really neat.
People bring birds into us or phone us up and tell us about an injured bird.
Well, on average, we round about 1,300 birds every year. So there's thousands of birds gone through. And the most rewarding part is you get a bird come in, you work on it, and the big day comes to let it go. And when the bird flies away, that's when you feel like you've achieved something in life.
Well, we get kiwi, hawks, moorporks, tuis and pigeons. We get everything.
Oh, he's quite a little character, Sparky. We've had him for just over 13 years. It's a North Island brown kiwi, a male. The sad part about Sparky, he lost his leg in a trap. You take him to the schools, it doesn't worry him being out in the daylight. And if they're studying kiwi, they can watch how the kiwi actually digs in the ground to pull the worms out. You can explain that while he's doing it. I always make sure that all the children have a touch of him. But it's so sad, there's so many people never ever seen one up close.
I love the moorporks because they've got such character, the way they react to you.
We don't charge people to come and have a look. People can make their own mind up whether they should help you or not. Now, the simplest way people can help us is to give us a donation. Without their help, you may as well forget about this. So we're really proud of them, and you know, we appreciate their support, and so do all the birds.
Who said that?
Well, that's just about it from us. Now, thank you all for joining us today. Now, I'd like to call upon Sarah once more to close our meeting with a karakia. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our meeting. I'd like to now warmly invite all of you for a cup of tea, nibbles, and some conversation. Kia ora.